China's military says its forces have expelled a U.S. warship that entered Chinese waters near the Paracel Islands. The USS Benfold entered the Paracels Waters on Monday, 7 December 2021, without the approval of the Chinese government. It was deemed to have violated China's sovereignty and undermined the stability of the South China Sea, the People's Liberation Army Southern Theater Command said. Quoted from CNA. The Chinese military urged the United States to immediately stop these provocative actions. "We urge the United States to immediately stop such provocative actions," Southern Theater Command said in a statement. For information, the Paracels are among hundreds of islands, coral reefs and atolls in the resource-rich South China Sea that are contested by China, Vietnam, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia and Brunei. China claims historic rights to resources on what is known as the Nine-Dash Line, or much of its territory. On 12 July 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled that China has no historic rights to the South China Sea. The court ruling also said China had interfered with the Philippines' traditional fishing rights at Scarborough Shoal and violated the Philippines' sovereign rights by exploring for oil and gas near the Reed Bank. U.S. warns China. Meanwhile, the Joe Biden administration on Sunday, 7 November 2021, backed the Trump-era rejection of nearly all of China's significant maritime claims in the South China Sea. The government also warned China that any attack on the Philippines in the Flashpoint region would attract a United States response under a mutual defense agreement. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken sent a strong message in a statement released ahead of the 5th anniversary of the International Tribunal's ruling in favor of the Philippines against China's maritime claims around the Spratly Islands and coral reefs, which Beijing has rejected. Previously, ahead of the 4th anniversary of the decision last year, the Trump administration did not just support the decision, but the Trump administration has also said Beijing's claims to the South China Sea are illegitimate. Further, Sunday's statement by the Biden administration reaffirmed that position, which has been set by Trump's Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. No rules-based maritime order is under greater threat than in the South China Sea, Blinken said, using language similar to Pompeo's. Blinken added that China continues to coerce and intimidate Southeast Asian littoral states, threatening freedom of navigation on this critical global path. The United States reaffirmed its July 13, 2020 policy regarding maritime claims in the South China Sea, he said, referring to Pompeo's original statement. "We also reiterate that armed attacks against Philippine armed forces, general ships, or aircraft in the South China Sea will require a joint U.S. defense commitment," he explained. Article 4 of the 1951 United States-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty requires the two countries to assist each other in the event of an attack. Prior to Pompeo's remarks, the United States policy was to insist that maritime disputes between China and its smaller neighbors be resolved peacefully through United Nations-backed arbitration. The shift does not apply to disputes over land features that are above sea level, which are considered territorial in nature. Although the United States continues to remain neutral on territorial disputes, Washington is effectively siding with the Philippines, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia and Vietnam. The countries oppose China's assertion of sovereignty over maritime areas around contested South China Sea islands, reefs and shoals. China reacted angrily to the Trump administration's announcement and will likely be just as upset by the Biden administration's decision to defend and strengthen it. "We call on China to comply with its obligations under international law, stop its provocative behavior," and take steps to reassure the international community that it is committed to a rules-based maritime order that respects the rights of all nations, large and small, Blinken said in a statement. China has rejected the court's decision, which it has deemed false, and has refused to participate in the arbitration proceedings. They have continued to challenge the decision with aggressive actions that have led to territorial disputes with Vietnam, the Philippines and Malaysia in recent years. Like last year's statement, Sunday's announcement comes amid rising tensions between the United States and China over issues that have plunged relations between the two countries. The issues in question include the issue of the coronavirus pandemic, human rights, China's policies in Hong Kong and Tibet, and trade. China claims almost all of the South China Sea and routinely denies any U.S. military action in the region. China has sought to shore up its claims to the sea by establishing military bases on coral atolls, leading the United States to sail its warships through the region on what it calls freedom of operations missions. The United States does not claim itself over the waters but has deployed warships and aircraft for decades to patrol and promote freedom of navigation and overflight in the busy waterway. It is not easy for China to claim parts of Southeast Asia such as the South China Sea case because it will face so many interests and support from countries in the world that will trigger more violent conflicts in the future.